Okay, so something huge is going down in the world of finance, and it involves one of the biggest players out there, JP Morgan. They just pulled a move so fast and so quiet that it's got everyone asking the same question. What are they running from? In this explainer, we're going to follow the breadcrumbs and see if this so-called great gold escape is really a sign of something much, much bigger on the horizon. Let's just dive right in. The analysis we're looking at kicks off with a line that just stops you in your tracks. This isn't an expansion, it's an escape. And that one word, escape, man, that changes everything, right? This isn't about growing the business, it's about getting out. And it immediately makes you wonder, what could they possibly be so desperate to get away from? So how did this midnight escape actually go down? Well, we're talking about a move that was carried out with military-grade precision. Just last Thursday, JP Morgan's entire gold desk, the very heart of their gold trading operation, just vanished from New York. And where did it pop up? Halfway across the planet, in Singapore. The sheer speed and the secrecy of this whole thing is what's really got people talking. And look, this isn't just about shuffling money and metal around. We're talking about people's actual lives here. Over 50 traders and their families were apparently told with basically zero notice to pack their bags and move to the other side of the world. Can you even imagine getting that call? Being told you and your family have to be in Singapore by Monday? I mean, you just don't see that kind of urgency in the corporate world, ever. The directive they got was blunt, super clear. An internal memo laid it all out. Every single gold specialist had to be relocated to the Asia-Pacific region by the end of the week, period. No ifs, ands, or buts about it. This was not a friendly suggestion. It was an order. And for anyone watching the markets, that kind of speed is a massive red flag. But hey, this wasn't just about moving people. It was about moving the gold itself. And the numbers here are just mind-blowing. In this month alone, JP Morgan has reportedly delivered over $4 billion worth of physical gold. To put that into perspective for you, that's more than the entire GDP of some small countries. This isn't a routine transfer. It's a colossal shift of physical wealth. And this slide right here really puts that $4 billion figure into context. This isn't just another big number. This is the largest movement of physical gold we've seen since the 2008 financial crisis. Now think about that. The last time a move this big happened, the entire global economy was teetering on the brink of total collapse. So when you see it happen again, you have to ask, what do they know that the rest of us don't? All right, so the million-dollar question is, why Singapore? Out of all the major financial hubs in the world, why there? As we're about to see, this choice of destination was no accident. It's actually a huge piece of the puzzle that helps us understand the bigger game that might be at play here. Yeah, so why Singapore? This decision was clearly very calculated. There are some very specific reasons why this particular city-state was chosen as the new home base. And honestly, they all point towards a much larger, very deliberate strategy. So what exactly makes Singapore the perfect getaway spot? The analysis points to a few key advantages. First off, there's a 0% tax on importing gold. That's a huge deal. Second, Singapore maintains friendly relationships with the BRICS nations. That's Brazil, Russia, India, China, and South Africa, who are becoming really powerful players on the world stage. And finally, Singapore has become the new hotspot for super rich individuals who are moving their wealth out of the US. Okay, so now it's time to zoom out and really look at the big picture. Because this isn't just about one bank making one move. This could be a single play and a massive global chess match for financial supremacy. And JP Morgan's great escape? Well, it might just be one of the opening moves. And you know, when you start laying out the timeline, the different pieces of this puzzle really start to click together. It all seems to start back in March, when JP Morgan execs quietly visited China's gold market. Then, over the next couple of quarters, the BRICS nations start dumping US bonds like they're radioactive. And it all culminates in last week's bombshell, the great escape to Singapore. It's a chain of events that's pretty hard to just write off as a coincidence. And we are not talking about a little sell-off here. The BRICS nations reportedly got rid of a stunning $93 billion in U.S. government bonds. That is a massive vote of no confidence in the U.S. dollar, and it's sending a very clear signal that they're looking for an alternative. It's almost like we're watching these giant scales tip in real time. On one side, you have assets tied to the US dollar, which has been king for decades. And on the other side, you've got physical gold, which is being championed by the rising power of China and the BRICS nations. And right now, it sure looks like the balance is starting to shift. And all of this, every move, every clue, it's all leading to one potentially terrifying conclusion. This is about the US dollar. This could be a direct challenge to its long-held status as the world's most powerful currency. And if the dollar falls, well, the entire global financial system could come tumbling down right along with it. So what exactly is the world reserve currency? The simplest way to think about it is that it's the world's default money. It's the currency that everyone trusts, the one used for most international trade, the one that central banks all over the world hold on to. For the last 80 years, that has been the US dollar. And holding that position has given the US an incredible amount of power. But if that changes, if the world decides it's time to move on from the dollar, we could all be in for a very, very rough ride. And this right here is where the theory gets really wild. The suggestion is that the smart money, the insiders who are always a step ahead, are getting out of the US because they suspect something is coming. And that something has to do with Fort Knox. See, there's this growing push to actually audit the US gold reserves, to open the vaults and prove the gold is really there. And if it's not, if it turns out the emperor has no clothes, well, the US dollar could become practically worthless overnight. So what are we supposed to make of all this? Are we really on the brink of some kind of global financial meltdown, or is this all just one bank making a very shrewd business decision? The signs are all there, but it's up to us to try and figure out what they're telling us. There's an old saying on Wall Street, the bankers always know first. And with this great escape, it kind of feels like they're sending a signal to the rest of us. They're telling us that something's not right, that there's a storm brewing on the horizon. And now, because of this move, maybe we know too. So I'll just leave you with this final question. Is this just a simple business adjustment, some boring corporate restructuring? Or is JP Morgan's great gold escape the canary in the coal mine? A final warning that the entire global financial system as we know it is about to face a massive storm. The answer to that could literally shape the future of our world.